Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to part 3 of Bill Burr's newest comedy special on Hulu, Drop Dead Years. Last time we checked, he was talking about male sadness.
As he rides off to fuck some sleeve tattooed, traumatized woman.
Billiam.
Is this too sad for even Seattle?
It was at this point I had to turn it off. I just turned it off. I couldn't take it.
All right, well, I will give you the #1 place to see sad men. Guitar Center.
Guitar Center!
Oh my God. One of the saddest places on earth. Failed, struggling musicians behind the counter. A bunch of men in loveless marriages or divorced just walking around looking at the guitars.
No, if you've ever walked in a Guitar Center, I don't know if I ever identified the mainly men that work there as this, but there is this energy of like sadness in Guitar Center. And I go in Guitar Center often enough because I have a lot of recording equipment. But when I was in, I guess like my college years, one of my really good friends, she's a female, but she is a lesbian and what you would call a stud. And so she worked at Guitar Center while she was going through school to be an engineer, a studio engineer. And she always was like, I can't stand working there with those has-beens. Like, they're just all so sad. And like, I just like had a Raven Simone morph moment back to that. Cause I'm like, was she right this whole time? Oh my gosh. Oh, if you work at Guitar Center, I love you. I've never gone to Guitar Center and had like a bad experience. Like, everyone's always helpful, but there is this like air of in there. If you know, you know. Wow, why was that like such a revolutionary joke to me? Let me shut up.
Failed, struggling musicians behind the counter. A bunch of men in loveless marriages or divorced just walking around looking at the guitars. Is that a custom color? Is it? Maybe if I add that to my collection, it'll fill up whatever the void is in the center of my chest.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't have any fucking solutions, but...
Bill.
Yeah. Anyway, what's funny, so my home life is great. I'm getting along great with my wife. I'm getting along,
that.
you know, kids are awesome. Everything's great at home. You know, the balance of life. If that's going to be good, something has to be like fucked up, you know, to fix it. It sucks, you know, like my home life is great, but what sucks is the people that raised me. It's not a good situation now, you know, aunts and uncles, everybody getting older, people dying, people getting diseases, you know. Like recently, somebody I know got diagnosed, you know, with dementia, which is, you know, it sucks, but there's nothing you can do, you know?
Right.
What do you do when somebody has dementia? What can you really do? You just be nice to them, right? They repeat a story. You just act like it's the first time they said it. You know what I mean? You don't sit there looking around the room like they're fucking doing this again. Like, what is this, Groundhog Day? You think he's gonna change the ending? I mean, good Lord, I don't give a fuck. He's not gonna remember me saying this, right? No, you don't do that. You just act like it's the first time they said it. They repeat a question. You just act like it's the first time they asked it. You are nice to people with dementia unless they're the president of the United States, at which point you can go off. Look at you guys.
We walked right into that. I did not see that coming.
That somebody has dementia. How fucked up is that? Not 30 seconds ago when I said someone in my
we were like,
got diagnosed. You guys were all, you could hear a pin drop. And you had empathy, like, oh no, maybe you know somebody that has it or whatever.
Guilty.
Oh my God, it's terrible. I know what you're going through. Second you put a blue or a red tie on it, fuck that old man. Fuck him. I'm glad he's gonna die. Yeah, still applauding. It's fucking.
We are jacked up. Humans are jacked up.
We're fucking out of our minds.
Yeah.
People aren't going to take the vaccine, but they'll take Ozempic, right? Well, Ozempic.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That is actually a good point. It's like people are always so like very one way or the other, especially about like things like vaccines. But then as soon as something hits the market that like could really benefit them, it's like all that health and wellness and like conscious or, conspiracy stuff goes out the window. It's like, so you won't vaccinate, but you'll take GLP-1, even though you have no need for it other than the fact that you're overweight. You have no health need for that. Okay. All right. To each, do you. It's your boo. It's your body, boo. Do you. Do you, boo. But that is a great point.
With us. We're fucking out of our minds. People aren't going to take the vaccine, but they'll take Ozempic, right? Well, Ozempic's my choice. No, it wasn't. They poisoned the food supply and you fucking ballooned up. And now you're jamming that in, and then they're going to wheel you in. It's not.
Another point.
You're a money-making
machine. We are all money-making machines for them. Anyway.
Joe Biden, here's the funny thing. If Joe Biden wasn't a politician, if he wasn't famous, if he was just some random old guy sitting by himself in a diner, repeating himself, there's nobody with him. You would have empathy for him, going like, oh my God, is there anybody with that guy? Oh, I mean, that is really dangerous. Who's going to help him out? How's he going to know he already had pie? He could eat himself to death, right? Second he's a Democrat
Bill,
or a Republican, you're just like, fuck you, old man! You're losing your mind! You're going crazy!
Oh my
You already said that! You already said that! You already said that! I love that shit.
Do
what
you?
Makes human beings hilarious. I'm one of the biggest hypocrites you're ever gonna fucking meet in your life. And I love
honest
hypocrites.
man.
I love weird rules. Like one of my favorite things about the West Coast is on the 5 freeway, you have that commuter lane. You gotta have 2 people in it, called the HOV lane, the high occupancy vehicle lane, whatever the fuck it's called, right? Yeah, I just love the respect that it gets. For the most part, 99% of people will not go in that fucking lane unless they have 2 people. We just sit in the other 6 lanes, dead stop, hating life. Why did I move out here? This fucking sucks. I can see my house. I can see it. I could walk from here. And there's this wide open lane to freedom. Nobody goes in it. They're like, oh, I can't go in that, Don't have enough occupancies in my vehicle, right? Here's the thing. I could take a chance, right? I could go in there by myself, okay? But if there's a cop there, I'm going to get pulled over. I'm going to get yelled at. I get a ticket, and my insurance goes up. I am not allowed to do that. However, I can still join the Klan.
Oh my gosh. Anytime I get in the HOV lane, I have 2 children, and so typically I'm never in the car alone, but my children will be in the backseat, and I still always have like this anxiety, like if there's a cop and I'm coming toward the cop, because typically if there is a cop in the HOV lane, they're sitting to the left in the median, and they wouldn't see my children in the backseat. I always get like so nervous about it. There is also now like the HOV lane in am I okay? The Atlanta perimeter area, the HOV lane turns into what they call the Peach Pass, which is equivalent to like the Easy Pass and things like that. So after you get outside of the city, you have to pay to be in that lane, and then anyone can get in that lane. So, and I think it's that way in New York too, right? Yeah, I don't know. The whole HOV lane is such a like, listen, some days you gotta do what you gotta do, and if traffic isn't moving, it's worth the risk, It's worth the risk. All right, I again did not see this Ku Klux Klan thing coming, so let's see what he has to say.
I get a ticket and my insurance goes up. I am not allowed to do that. However, I can still join the Klan.
Bill.
I can join the Ku Klux Klan and not get in trouble. Right?
Isn't that is crazy. Another good point.
I don't get a ticket. No insurance goes up. I could drive
but I can't get in that lane.
highway in my Klan outfit as long as I had the mud flap up. All right, it could say Grand Dragon on the front of the sheet. I could have a white power bumper sticker. I could have a Hitler bobblehead right on the dashboard.
Oh my
just sitting there fucking going like that. I would not get pulled over unless I went into the HOV lane. Right? Yeah, and then
Great point, Bill.
I wouldn't get
Great
pulled
point.
over because I joined a terrorist organization. I would get pulled over because I didn't have another terrorist with me. That's what the problem would be. Yeah.
That is such a good point.
Yeah, the cop will be coming up like, well, aren't we in a hurry to get to the cross burning this evening, huh? Who the hell do you think you are, buddy? I'll tell you right now, you better have a black guy in the trunk or you, sir, are in a lot of trouble. Now get your license out.
William.
You know what's funny is I don't think anybody joins the Klan anymore, you know? That's like your great-great-great-grandfather's hate group, you know? I don't like blacks or Jews or fucking queers. I feel like they're still on horses, you know? Just a bunch of old, ugly white guys just riding around. Hey, God made me in his image, and Jesus looks like me, he fucking good guy. You know what's hilarious about Jesus?
Huh?
You know what I learned about this guy? In North America, he's white. He's like almost as white as I am. But the closer you get to the equator, the more he starts looking like Lenny Kravitz.
Let's talk about this right now. I get it. I grew up thinking Jesus was white too. Every Bible I looked in, like it just was what it was. But if you look geographically, and there's no argument here, where Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus the Jew, was born. He's not a white American man, guys. I know this is wild to say. I can't speak to the amount of melanin he had, but he was not a white man. And like when I grew up and became old enough to realize that, it's just like, why are they telling us this? Why is this like, why? Why? Think about that. Think about the why. There is a why. Think about it.
This guy, in North America, he's white. He's like almost as white as I am. But the closer you get to the equator, the more he starts looking like Lenny Kravitz. You notice that?
Who is biracial.
Anyway, yeah, nobody joins the Klan anymore, you know?
He's like all over the place.
As a white person, you don't want to join the Klan, right? You want to join a younger, hipper, white nationalist group, right? Like
the
the
Proud Boys?
neo-Nazis or the Proud Boys, you know, with their little fades, you know, and their little okey-doke thing, they stick their pee-pees through or whatever the secret handshake is. I don't know. I don't pretend to know these things. Or maybe you just want to be that random, get off my lawn, racist white dude. You know that guy? The patriotic guy. You know that guy? He dresses every weekend like it's the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. Everything he has has the American flag on it. You know, the bald eagle on the shirt, the Declaration of Independence down this sleeve, Thomas Jefferson's nuts, Mount Rushmore right back here, God's, freedom ain't free, you don't like it, go fuck yourself, and all that. Then you got the giant pickup truck with the huge American flag hanging off the back. That's my favorite.
No, it's the Trump flag. I lived in Central Florida. We just moved last summer, the end of last summer, and that was everyone. Everyone was so nice, but like that was like he just described all of my neighbors, all of them.
You don't like it, go fuck yourself, and all that. Then you got the giant pickup truck with the huge American flag hanging off the back. That's my favorite. Giant American flag off the back, like we don't know what country we're in. Like, just in case you forgot, you're in America.
In case you're lost.
You know what's funny? Recently, I did a gig up in Canada, right? We landed in Calgary, and me and Kenny are driving to the hotel, and I saw a guy up there. He had a giant pickup truck with a giant Canadian flag hanging off the back, and I was so relieved. You know, I was like, thank God. I thought only we had that fucking idiot in our country. Evidently, he's everywhere. Which is hilarious to me because that means there's a guy in England right now with a giant British flag hanging off the back of a scooter, just riding around like,
Scoot.
Right, you're in London, you silly cunt. Meet me. Brexit, you fucking yank. Right?
Oh.
I don't know, that just blows my mind. You know, it's like, it's 2024. All of these people got in trouble, got canceled and shit. You know what I mean? Never came around to the Klan. None of those groups ever got canceled. But if you said in 1992, hey, nice titties, comes back to bite you in the ass 30 years later.
Bill is dropping some gems, making really good points here. I'm just saying.
That's the question I've been asking when I'm on the road. Like, here's a question I have. Why do you think the Klan, it's 2024, right? Why do you think the Klan still exists? Racist? I'm not saying what they are. Racist! Why do you think fat people exist? Eat too much. Are they all gonna be this easy?
That poor lady, she was brave and answered the question when no one else would, and he's ripping her a new one.
Saying what they are. Racist. Why do you think fat people exist? Eat too much. Are they all gonna be this easy?
Such a douchebag.
You know what the funniest answer I got? I go, why do you think people are still in the Klan? 2024. And some guy yelled out, he goes, something to do. You know,
it is something to do.
Some people are into bowling. Some people like to draw. Some people like to blow up churches with innocent people in there. I mean, it's, it's all, whatever your trip is.
Oh, Lord.
You know why they still exist? You know why, right? Some people go, well, it's a First Amendment issue. It's a freedom of speech. We have this wonderful thing in this country, for white people only, called freedom of speech. I mean, they have to be allowed to join these groups. They have to be allowed to march down the streets with semi-automatic weapons, chanting the N-word, trying to create a race war on the internet, okay? They have to be allowed to do this. If they are...
This is interesting. So... I reacted to the Rubin report, reacting to Bill Burr on The View recently, and they were talking about, Bill was essentially just saying that tech nerds, i.e. Elon Musk, are taking over the government and where our nation is going because the billionaire tech nerds, and I'm using his words, are taking over. And Mike is Rubin, what? Not Mike Rubin. Mike Rubin is like a music CEO. Anyway, Rubin was calling him woke and saying he now gave into the machine. And I have questioned this a few times. I think also with Charlemagne the God, it's like, one, people are allowed to evolve and change. They are. People get married, people have children. And that is why I'm saying this. Like, Bill Burr is now a dad of 2. He is married to a black woman. And perhaps his perspective on life has changed since he started doing comedy. Now, in my opinion, I don't ever remember Bill Burr being more conservative. I think he's always just made fun of, like, the machine, and, like, he's literally poking fun at left and right here in a way. So I don't know. I wonder what your take is on that. Not to make this comedy special political, but it is relevant because I just reacted to it, if not yesterday, the day before yesterday. And here we are. He's talking about this, and it's just like, he doesn't seem woke to me. He just seems anti-racist, anti-white supremacy, which are things that exist. I don't think those are woke concepts. Those are actual things, organizations, the Ku Klux Klan, they all exist. And I think he's just against that. But it seems like anytime anyone is against something, either left or right, red or blue, then people immediately throw them to the wokeness or the far leftness. And it's like, why can't people just believe what they believe and be wherever they decide they are? Why are we just always dismissing them to the extreme of one or the other? And that is why I think always struggle with choosing a side. Because it's like, what? I don't know. Sorry. Just a thought.
To march down the streets with semi-automatic weapons, chanting the N-word, trying to create a race war on the internet, okay? They have to be allowed to do this. If they are not allowed to do this, it's a slippery slope. Next thing you know, there goes the town pool. So you really have to be careful about censorship
There goes the town pool is crazy.
You name one other fucking race that can do that. Yeah, no, I'm telling you. The reason why they still fucking exist is because they don't fuck with white people. That's basically it. If they did to white people what the fuck they've done to black people, how long do you think that stupid fucking group would have been around? Maybe 5 weeks, because it was the 1800s and it took a month to get across the state to get to those idiots. Mowed them down with the first machine gun that was the size of a fucking cannon. And that would have been fucking it. No, you don't believe me? You remember 9/11 when those brown people knocked down those 2 perfectly good white buildings? My people lost their minds. Kill all the motherfuckers. Blow up that whole side of the planet. Anybody with a brown shirt, get right? Yeah, the exact same people. If the Klan or Proud Boys does some fucked up shit, what is the best we have? The most liberal of my people. What's the best we got? Oh my God, that's terrible. Can you believe that? Oh, what is wrong with people? I mean, I just don't get it.
Get it. Go.
Are you guys watching Baby Reindeer? That is fucking amazing. No, you have to watch it. It is so good.
I've actually been in a situation like this where like, and it wasn't race related. I just want to say that it was when I was still working an office job, and we had some interns that were younger, and we were having a conversation about transgender people, and my boss at the time she was just super uncomfortable with the conversation, and she tried to act like she was engaged, but then like she quickly tried to change the subject, and it's like the fake outrage, like I literally have seen this happen, and it's so crazy. It's like, huh? And then just like, anyway, let's talk about something else. What do you guys want for lunch?
That's why I fucking hate liberals. I do.
So he's not woke, or he doesn't agree with the woke agenda. This is what I'm saying. It's like, what?
I hate him. No,
because he doesn't like Elon does not make him woke.
You're all a bunch of fucking racists.
He also hates conservatives.
All right? Now, I know that's a blanket statement, but I'm just trying to speak your language.
Nailed it.
What I fucking hate about liberals is you don't do shit other than covering your own ass with your dumbass fucking signs. I hate that shit with the fuck. Remember that was the worst. I was in Hollywood, during the whole Black Lives Matter, and the white people putting, like my people, putting the fucking BLM signs in the window. It wasn't even about black people. It was about that they were doing it. They were like Instagramming it, like, yeah. I just couldn't remain silent, I had to speak truth to power, You would think they were in the Marines or something. It's like you haven't even left your fucking apartment, right? I had to do it. I took one piece of Xerox paper that I paid for.
This reminds me of when, what was it, like Blackout Tuesday, where everyone posted like black squares on their Instagram feed in solidarity for the Black Lives Movement. Black Lives Matter movement. I've talked about this and how I feel about Black Lives Matter. I think initially it started off with all good intentions, just to highlight that along with every other life on the planet, Black lives also matter. It wasn't to negate anyone else, but I think it turned into 18 other really bad things. But the one thing that I saw often from Bill's people, since he keeps calling white people his people, is that like I would see, for example, let's say a white person who had a black best friend, or maybe a biracial child, and they would always go out of their way to say like, my child is biracial, or my best friend is black. And it's like, so if that wasn't the case, would you still be posting this? Like, you know what I mean? That's why it always seems like, what do you believe for real? Like, is this for show? Is this some type of saviorism complex? And I think that is where BLM got so mixy, is like, we couldn't tell whose intentions were good. And then it just all went to hell when people realized it was scammy and there was money involved. Millions of dollars were going to personal accounts and all type of stuff. And it's just like, if there was any good, it was all lost in the sauce. you know? But I just like, this is funny because, yeah, like you would see people like making sure that people knew they were posting it strictly because they had some black adjacent relationship or something like that. It's just like, okay.
Wrote BLM on it and took 2 pieces of double-sided tape I usually use to hold my titties up, and I stuck it in the window. And I was like, there you go, black people. Enjoy your new freedom.
Freedom.
What? It's just, I had to do it. It was how I was raised, you know? I come from a long line of progressive liberals. In fact, my great-great-great-grandmother was in Berlin, Germany in 1939, and she had a knock it off Nazi sign in the window. And let me tell you something, that was the end of those shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
A lot of people thought it was the bravery of the Allied troops. No, it was not.
It was my Nona.
persnickety side.
Oh, Bill, please.
No, liberals, you got to get over your fear of the gun. That's what's going to turn this country around. You got to embrace guns. Okay? They're not going anywhere. You have a better chance of getting rid of cheeseburgers than you are of getting rid of guns.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if you ever read the history of this country. It's not what they say it was. All right? This is gangs in New York. Okay? We came here, there was other people here, and then there weren't, right? And then there was work to be done. We didn't want to do it, and then we brought other people in, and other shit happened, and then they got let go, and now we know. A lot of shit happened, okay? So people are strapped because...
People are strapped.
You don't know what's going to happen. But then liberals are like, oh, God, stop the guns. I'm going to make a sign, stop the guns. Right? No.
So his liberal voice is crazy.
Level the playing field out. That's what's going to stop these hate groups, I think, anyways. Because they're not afraid, because they're armed and you're not. So basically, what's going to turn this country around is the day of vegan beta male with a man bun does a drive-by in a Prius at a Klan rally and exposes them for the faggots they really are.
Oh!
Nothing's going to happen.
He pulls out that machine gun.
I know I said faggots, but, you know, I was worried I was getting too preachy. You know what I mean? I don't want you to feel like I'm not dirty, too.
He's a hypocrite. He told us.
You know what's funny? My wife got me to stop saying that word, right? Like the 2000s, she got me to stop saying the word. I swear to God, this is a true story. I was driving back. I was in LA, and I had her on speakerphone. I had a good set and everything, so I was psyched, and I was talking to her, making her laugh and shit. You know, and I'm driving, and this is the hilarious thing is I'm driving a Prius, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot he used to drive a Prius.
He
told us about the accident.
Like this 2-inch like metal on either side that was like a blind spot. If you went to take a left, and if there was somebody in the crosswalk and they fucking lined up with the thing, okay, you wouldn't see them, and they get run over by this little doorstop of a car, right? So wouldn't you know it? That night, I'm going down the street in my Prius.
Is this the accident story?
My wife laugh, and I go to make a left, Hollywood and La Brea, never forget it, and this guy was lined up, and at the last second, I saw him, almost ran him over, and I swerved out of the way and stomped on the brakes, and the guy, of course, turned around, and he goes, you fucking asshole, why don't you look where the fuck you're driving? Jesus Christ, fucking wake up. He's screaming at me, and I put the window down. I was trying to explain, I'm sorry I didn't see you. There's like a 2-inch thing, and you were lined up. He goes, what the fuck, you almost ran out of my fucking foot? He's screaming at me. I'm trying to explain myself, and he kept fucking yelling at me, and he wouldn't listen, and I finally just snapped. I was like, with your tight pants, you fucking faggot. Right?
Did he tell this story before? I feel like he's told this story in one of his specials before. Right? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I just know he's mentioned driving a Prius. Shout out to the new Priuses, like the 2025s. Have y'all seen them? Have you seen them? Nice. Like, good work. I don't even know who makes a Prius. Dodge, Nissan. Who makes a Prius? Who makes Toyota Prius? What kind of Ford Prius? I don't know.
So my wife flips out. She's like, Bill, you cannot say that anymore, right? And what was funny was the guy actually laughed, right? I swear to God, like he threw his head back and he really like laughed. And to this day, I don't know why. Like, was he laughing because he was a little fat? Was his pants getting a little tight? Was it around the holidays? Or was it just funny to see a bald ginger in a Prius call him that word?
Right.
I don't know what it was.
Right.
But he got a huge laugh out of it. And that word actually ended the argument
I feel like he told this story
between
before.
the two of us. So, but my wife broke it down to me. She goes, "You can't say that word. It's a really hurtful word." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't want to be an asshole." So it took a while, but I stopped.
It took a while.
And but there's they never gave you like a replacement word. Like there's like this phantom limb syndrome here. It's like, what do you call somebody who cuts you off in traffic and then you pull up at a red light and they don't have the decency to look at you as you're fucking screaming at your window? What do you call them?
There are several words.
The alliteration. Fucking, it just gets it out of you.
Oh, Bill.
You know what's funny is I don't.
All right, we're going to stop there for today. We've had enough of his rage. We're going to finish in the final part, which is less than 20 minutes, I think, if you include the credits in a day or two. I'll see y'all there. Talk to me down below. You guys have seemed to been enjoying this. I know people have said that he's fallen off, but I think people evolve. A comic shouldn't always have the same jokes or the same style of jokes forever, because then we'll complain about that too. So I'm enjoying this evolved, less manic version of Bill. Let me know how you feel, and go and have the day you deserve.